Good morning, everybody. It's the 22nd of June today, and vaccine passports are here. And I was talking about the possibility of this with a few other brave people a year ago or so, and then the idea was derided as being a crazy conspiracy theory. But these days, yesterday's conspiracy theory is today's propaganda and thing that's being implemented by the government. And so it's happening in the EU everywhere on the 1st of July. And in the UK, we hear it in some of the mainstream media that there's going to be an announcement on Thursday where the traffic light list for travel for UK citizens is going to be changed so that if you go to an amber list country, which is most countries in the world, you're going to be able to go there and come back without quarantine if you've got two jabs in your arms, two injections of experimental substance, whatever is in those things. And we know that the safety data and the data for these jabs is not going to be finished being evaluated until 2022, 2023. So the clinical trials for these things are going on. They're experimental. So you're going to have to take an experimental injection to travel to most places if you don't want a lot of hassle to come back into the country and quarantine in one of these places, which looks like a gulag, and pay for the privilege. But these vaccine passports that you're going to get are really a precursor to digital identity and the Chinese Communist Party style social credit system. That there will be a flag on the app that you'll have to get to say whether you've had a vaccine or not. Okay, that's fine, but there's the possibility to build into the app, the software, whatever it is that's gonna tell you this, many other things. So they can put on there your criminal records data, they can put on there other health data that you have, your personal data, relationship data, job data, even your political affiliations, and things that social media collect data on. These big social media platforms look at every click that you do, and they say that with their algorithms they can know things about you better than you know yourself, and that can all be built into the digital identity platform. So personally, I'm not going to get any experimental injections. I have an immune system. I trust my immune system to protect me from coronaviruses. Like, if you want to get a so-called vaccine, it's your choice. Go ahead. But what I would say, if you are thinking of doing it, make sure you are informed of all the risks, because there's always risks with medicines and vaccines, and especially experimental new things. This is experimental technology that's not been used before. Make sure you know the risks. Have a look at the MHRA's yellow card system. You'll see there's been over 1,200 deaths in the UK within 28 days of people having an experimental injection. So look at the number of adverse health reactions, which are now in the hundreds of thousands within 28 days of people having an experimental injection, particularly those who've had two experimental injections. Have a look at those things, inform yourselves of the risks, and if you're still happy with it, go ahead, it's your choice. What I certainly don't agree with, which I think is absolutely abhorrent, is rolling it out to children under 18 who don't have the legal and perhaps scientific capacity to make those decisions for themselves. I mean, they should not be injected with these things when their immune systems are completely strong enough to deal with coronaviruses, including SARS-CoV-2. We know from 12 months, 15 months of data, there's been hardly any children under the age of 18 who have got serious symptoms or died from SARS-CoV-2 and complications. The people who have mostly been older, over 70, average age being 82, and most of them have underlying health conditions at all. So, there's no need for children to be injected with this technology. I'm against it completely. I'm also opposed to bringing in vaccination passports for anything, for this particular virus. Yeah, I would say for any viruses that exist, in the world today. This is not the Black Death. This is not smallpox, which killed 33% of the population when you had the Black Death in Europe in the 14th, 15th centuries. Even then, I don't think I would support bringing in the sort of restrictions that they're talking about with this. But that's another matter. But with this, certainly there's no need. We should be allowed to just go about our lives and go about our businesses, travel, go to cinemas, go to theatres, go to shops, go to libraries, go to malls, meet our friends, go to the park, go to each other's houses with no restrictions whatsoever, just like we've always been able to do in this country and around the world in what are supposed to be free countries, but we don't live in a free country anymore. We got to just say and just lay it on the table. This is not a free country anymore, and our forefathers had to fight for our freedoms, and they fought for our freedoms many, many times, most recently in the Second World War. And my grandfathers and great-grandfathers' generation, many of them laid down their lives fighting tyranny, fighting Nazi tyranny on the beaches of Normandy and across Europe until they won that war so that we can be free. And what have we become now in our country? We've just passively surrendered our freedoms, for a bit of furlough money, so we can go on holiday. And probably we might not be able to go on holiday because you never know how they're going to change the rules anyway. So, my goodness, we need to fight for our freedoms now. And we won't have to pay as big a cost as our grandfather's generation. We will have to pay a cost. It's not as big as that. But the longer we leave it, the bigger the cost is going to be. So you know what? I'm going to go to the Freedom Rally in London on the 26th of June. And I expect there'll be 200,000 people or more there. And I really love those days. And I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of you there again. And obviously, I'm the leader of the Heritage Party, which are set up to be a socially conservative party, to fight against woke culture and all of this nonsense originally. But, part of what we stand for is free speech and liberty. But that's become really, because of what's happening, the most important thing is fighting for our liberties and fighting for just the right to go about our lives and live with our fundamental freedoms, which have been taken away. And that's now the biggest issue for everybody in the whole country. We're still a socially conservative party. We believe in traditional family values and a culture of life and low immigration and financial responsibility, not wasting our money, fiscal responsibility as well. But, freedom of speech to say, what you want, just common sense opinions, which are being cancelled all over the place, and liberty to go about your lives. So, we are fighting politically as well. I know other people are doing other things in activism and legally and so on. But, my area where I'm taking up the fight is much more political. And it's a long-term thing because you've got all of the big parties, if you like. There's 5 of them in this country. There's the fake Conservatives, there's the Labour, there's the Green, there's the Lib Dems, there's the SNP. They're all for lockdown. They're all for woke culture and cancel culture. And we're not. We're against that. We're for freedom. And we're going to be standing, on the 1st of July in the Batley and Spen by-election. So please support us up there, share our posts and everything. If you know people who live in Batley and Spen, if you're on any social media groups that you're there. Please share our policies, our posts, our messages, so that we can get the word out, and we can make a change in Parliament. You know, we've got a fantastic candidate there, Susan Laird, who's standing. I would love to see us get an MP. You know, that's not predicted at all with the polls, but you know, we have to build up, and you know, I hope we get a good showing there. But we're going to grow. I'm going to grow the Heritage Party. We've got great people in there already. Please join us if you haven't joined us already for political resistance. And we need candidates to stand in the local elections in May 2022, which will come up quite quickly. And we need candidates to stand in the general election whenever that happens, whether it's May 2023, May 2024, we don't know. But those are two possible dates it could be. And I want us to stand everywhere, to be a challenge to all of the parties, wherever they are. You know, we're not going to pull candidates out at the last minute like the Brexit Party did in 2019 and hand victory to Boris Johnson, who messed up Brexit, and now we're in the situation where Northern Ireland is in the right state and our fishermen don't have their fishing waters back to fish as they were promised. We're not going to do that. We're going to stand everywhere, and I don't care, you know, whether it's Labour or Tory. They're all the same. They're the same. I'm not going to pull out to let one or two of the other parties in, you know, like has happened with some people in Batley and Spen. We're standing in Batley and Spen. We're going to stand everywhere in the general election. So please join us. And if you feel that you can be a candidate, come along, come on board, have a chat to me, have a chat to the team. And we want to get ready for the general election coming up, so we can restore freedom and sanity and common sense to our country and make it the great country it should be. But unfortunately, to say it, it's not anymore, because it's being destroyed from within. We want to stop that destruction and make things better again. Thank you for listening, everybody. And if you are interested in the Heritage Party, look at heritageparty.org. I'll leave a link in the notes below. Bye-bye.